Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio by Bryan Leonard. We're going to take a look at early season baseball. Our observations, we're 2.5 weeks into the season, Bryan, and, obviously every year you got some surprises. You got some teams that are disappointing out of the gate. Couple of the things that I took so far from the first couple weeks, most importantly, the one for me is the Washington Nationals. They're playing like the team that was supposed to be last year. And, last year everybody was saying they were a 100-win team, going to run away with the National League and everything, and then injuries took its toll on them, and they never lived up to the hype of last year. They came on strong at the end of the year, but, they dug themselves too big of a hole. They're not digging a hole so far this year. They're playing well. Yeah,
you mentioned the key ingredient in all these teams, it's health. And Washington's got some great players on the team, but you got to be healthy. That's the problem a lot of teams run into. At the end of the year, it's not the best team who wins it. It's the team that gets hot at the right time and the team that gets healthy at the right time. And Washington's been able to do that.
Now, it's only 2.5 weeks in, so, we always get the sample size. It's not a big sample size. But last year, a team, the Oakland A's, and I know this is a team that all of us, yourself, myself, Cheetah, we all thought that this was a team definitely, looked to the over for season win totals on the A's. And the problem last year was the 35 games in which, they lost one-run games and such. They're around 500 so far this season. But the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from Oakland is their bullpen so far this season. It's only 2.5 weeks, but they are playing much better than they played last year. And last year, anytime the bullpen came in, it was like, in some of the games, it was like pouring gasoline on an open fire.
Yeah, it really is. And the first thing I look at in the offseason is how teams do in one-run games, how they do in extra inning games. And obviously, Oakland was terrible in those last year. The bullpen has been terrific so far. They have made some adjustments there. But the hardest thing to replicate each and every year is your bullpens. You find many teams that have a great, being from Cleveland, one year we'll have a great bullpen, the next year we have a terrible bullpen. So that's the hardest thing to put some trust behind. So they are playing well right now in the bullpen, which is great. But a team that I'm really surprised by right now is the Baltimore Orioles. Now, we knew that they would hit. They're a big home run hitting team. They're trying to copy the Toronto Blue Jays in that regard. But their starting pitching is terrible. And they've got really good starting pitching so far this year, and that's why Baltimore's doing so well. But I don't know, other than Tillman, I think Tillman's always had the ability. I just hadn't put it all together. But you've got those other guys in the back of the rotation. I don't know how long they can keep this up.
Well, one of them, and we're taping on Wednesday, and he happens to be going tonight. This is a guy that's been, me and you joke so many times of like, which Jimenez is going to show up, because there's nights that he goes out there that he almost looks like he has Cy Young stuff, and then there's other nights that he doesn't look like a fifth man in the rotation. But he's been pitching decent so far for him, and again, how far will that go? And remember, he's on the backside of his career, but it wasn't that long ago that he was a really dominant pitcher back in the day.
Yeah, when he pitched for Colorado, when he went from Colorado for half a year to Cleveland a half a year, that 1 year, he was as good as anybody in baseball. The problem with a lot of the pitchers is your release point, your timing, and right now he's being able to find it. Some other pitchers, you talked about the Oakland A's, Rich Hill. Rich Hill's just striking everybody out. He did it in spring training, but he's having problems controlling the ball. The batters don't know where the ball's going, but the pitcher doesn't either, and that's not a good combination.
Not a good thing. Speaking of pitchers, and this is a topic that me and you have talked about several times, when we're hanging out, having a couple cold ones, and the Pittsburgh Pirates in their pitching coach, Ray Searage. This guy, I joke, he's the pitching whisperer. You had like the movie The Horse Whisperer. He gets guys that have been mediocre their entire career and takes them into another plateau. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because the Pirates have had a lot of turnover in pitchers the last few years. We've seen guys come and go, and when they come to Pittsburgh, all of a sudden they get good, and then they've carried it on. One of the guys, Volquez, he came to Pittsburgh for 1 year, had his best year, then ended up turning it into a nice contract with Kansas City, and he's been able to continue to pitch well since he went there. He has a consistency now, where he never had before. We saw what he did with Lariano, A.J. Burnett when he came to Pittsburgh. Even Vance Worley was a guy that was mediocre at best.
Happ.
Yeah.
Jay Happ goes to Toronto, from Pittsburgh to Toronto. You're thinking, oh, he's going to get killed.
Good.
He's pitched great so far.
Yeah, and the reason we bring it up, there's 2 more new guys for the Pirates on the starting staff this year, and I think he's going to work his magic with these guys. Nicasio had a great spring training, and John Neese was a guy who came over from the Mets. Left-handed pitching's always, you never can have enough of left-handed pitchers, and this is a guy that's had decent stuff but not overpowering stuff. If he works his magic, I think Neese is going to be a guy that's going to be underrated for a while till the league catches up to him, and the books do as well.
Pittsburgh's got 2 guys in the minors that should be starting for just about any team in Major League Baseball, and they're being held down because they're bringing in these guys that are the retreads, and they're having success. Yeah. What they need to do, and the reason why a lot of them leave is because Pittsburgh doesn't want to pay them. You have your big year, and then somebody else will pay you. What Pittsburgh's got to do is try to get rid of these guys halfway through the season. They're pitching well, maybe get some more prospects in or get some money in, and they could bring up those younger guys that are, in my opinion, just wasting away down in the minors.
All right, some good stuff. Any last thing, any team that you think's sleeper yet that hasn't woke up that you expect undervalued?
I think Boston's a team right now. They're 1 game under 500 right now, but their pitching has been great. The starting pitching has been great, except for yesterday. The guy gets knocked out at 2/3 of an inning with an injury, but the bullpen came in, pitched 9 shutout innings. I mean, Boston's a team with that bullpen, and their players, their hitters have not been hot so far. I could see the Red Sox going on a nice run.
All right, there you go. Hey guys, check out every Tuesday at WagerTalk. It's $2 Tuesday. We highlight one capper, we offer his best bet, and we give it to you for $2. It's a great way to introduce yourself to a new capper or just introduce yourself to the site. Check it out each and every Tuesday. It's $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk.com.